Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the school committee meeting to order on September 7th at 7 p.m. And I'd like to read the Douglas Mission Statement. The Douglas Mission Statement for Douglas Public Schools offers the diverse learning experiences that meet the academic, social, physical, and emotional needs of all of our students. We provide a safe, supportive, and challenging learning environment in which students may achieve academic success and personal growth. Decisions are made in the best interest of our students. Please rise for a pledge of allegiance, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to call the student representative, Caroline Ramsdell, to come forth to us.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Students at Douglas High School have had a great first week of classes. Seniors celebrated their first day of school with a senior sunrise, which was run by the Student Council. Students were provided breakfast as they got to see the sunrise on their first day of school. Following this sunrise, the whole school held a pep rally to celebrate the first day together for all their classes. All students received their Chromebooks and had a meeting about the school year. Preseason began on Friday, August 19th for football teams and other sports on August 22nd. Sports season was supposed to open yesterday, September 6th, but was delayed due to weather. Douglas High School clubs are beginning to meet and are always looking for new students to join. An open house will be held next Tuesday, September 13th. Picture Day and College Fair will also be held on Friday, September 23rd. Our homecoming weekend will be September 23rd and 24th, beginning with volleyball matches on Friday night. Saturday will be soccer and football games, followed by the homecoming dance. All our students are looking forward to our first year of the homecoming dance. All our students are looking forward to our first year of normalcy with no masks. Do I have any questions?
Do you know how many people went to the sunrise?
There was about 20 kids there.
And do you know what you're doing at the end of the year?
We'll be having like a sunset
Correct.
with the whole class. Our first tradition of it, yes.
And how did the class receive that? Was that different, because it's not the norm that we've always done, traditionally speaking?
Yeah, it was great. We all had a good bonding, the whole class together.
Very nice.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
You too as well, Caroline.
Thank you for coming.
I'd now like to open the floor up for any public comment. Seeing that there is none, I'm going to move on to any old business that we didn't need to discuss.
You do not have any?
So moving on to new business. Dr. Bureau.
Sure. So welcome back, everyone. Just some brief back-to-school updates. We had 2 days of great PD with staff last week, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, but our students have been back in school now for 4 days. And it's been great to have everyone back without masks, without a lot of talk of the pandemic. There was a great energy, a great vibe in the schools. One, again, I said it last meeting, but a thank you to a lot of people who made last week and this week possible. You don't just end the year and then magically a new year starts. So there was a lot of work to make that happen. So just thank you to the cafeteria staff, the custodians, the principals, the administrative assistants to get things ready. We were as close to flawless as we could for the start of the school year. Obviously, you have 4 buildings. You have close to 500,000 square footage of building space, 1,100 kids, 250 staff members. A few little kinks in the to work out, but what a great school year. Cafeteria ran well. Buses, as Ms. Keegan said, ran pretty well. So it was a wonderful, wonderful start, and it was just good to see. It was awesome going into classes on Wednesday and Thursday of last week. A lot of good team building stuff that I saw teachers doing with kids, a lot of building relationships, but also a nice blend of blending that piece of getting to know you with routines and norms in the elementary school and in the primary school, but then you saw them transition into academics in the middle and in the high school. So it was great being in the halls, being inside classrooms and seeing teaching and learning, but also seeing that relationships being formed with teachers and kids the first few days. Yesterday was tricky to get out with the rain out there, but it was a great few days. Next on the agenda is a little bit about the MTSS update. I mentioned this the last time. One of our big focus points this year is that multi-tiered system of supports. And what that is, for those who didn't watch last time, was really focusing around the academic, social, emotional, and behavioral needs of our students. And the first 2 days of PD was really centered around those 3 major buckets. This is the first year we've had 2 days of PD for staff as opposed to the traditional 1. So we did the icebreaker things with staff. Staff had time to set up things inside their classrooms. They had a lot of activities going on. But I just want to highlight some of the stuff that happened inside the district around academic, social, emotional, and behavioral professional development for our teachers, which in turn will benefit our kids. All buildings spent some time talking about the DCAP and the BCAP, which I presented the last time. I sent that email out to families today. Hopefully they can use that as a resource. But there was time across all 4 buildings to go over the DCAP and the BCAP, and that touches on that academic, the social, emotional, and behavioral needs of students. All buildings spent some time going over the MTSS and really understanding it and beginning to unpack it and break it down. For the academic piece, some of the buildings did stuff around student engagement. How can you get kids engaged inside the classrooms, different strategies and techniques. We did training on ST Math. We did training on our STARS assessment, and Ms. Sosha talked about IDGD, which is the new assessment for preschool. So a lot of training around some of the programs we're using. That was done at the elementary and primary school in order to be able to provide teachers with resources and tools to better meet the academic needs of students. Mr. O'Brien did a refresher on UDL, and he also did a nice refresher on curriculum mapping and the importance of making sure your curriculum's aligned to the frameworks and how is that paced out. And then at the high school, they used some time to spend talking about the evaluation tool and how the evaluation tool can impact kids' social, emotional well-being, cultural responsiveness, and instruction. So a lot of PD around academics. The social, emotional stuff that we went over, apart from the DCAP and the MTSS, really focused on making sure that the schools are safe so kids feel safe. So we did the traditional EpiPen training, we did food allergies, we did stuff on ALICE, we did signs of suicide. We made sure that we had a lot of our threat assessment teams and our safety teams put together. We spent some time talking about Care Solace, which is that program in order that schools can use and families can use if kids need some, or people need some assistance. And then finally, around behavioral, probably the biggest thing we did, and Dr. Merrick did, was it's 5 or 6 hours of PD over 2 days. 6 hours. So we had all of our paraprofessionals, all of our ABAs, our psychologists, our school adjustment counselors, and our special education teachers spend about 5-6 hours in PD looking how they can better support students with disabilities around behavior using the principles of applied behavioral analysis. So it was a 6-hour PD working with staff as to how they can see a student who struggled behaviorally, identify some of the things, collect the data, and put together strategies to better service the kids. So it was a 6-hour PD based on that. And then we did some of the stuff, the elementary school went back to the basics and carpet time and everything that comes around meeting with kids on carpet time. Mr. O'Brien did some training around IPASS data and discipline data and looking at that. So we spent a great 2 days doing a lot of things, but we really spent a lot of time focusing on the academic, social, emotional, and behavioral needs of our kids and providing staff with the professional development that they need, and that's stuff that we will build upon over the next school year.
Have you gotten any feedback from the staff about the PD or anything they need for the year?
So I've got a lot of feedback. I know the principals have. The paraprofessionals, the special education teachers loved the behavior stuff. They're like, this is awesome. Paras and ABs, one were thrilled they were included in PD and loved the fact that the PD actually was directly related to what they were doing.
That's very helpful,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's really helpful when you get professional development to
On
help
what
you do
you
your job.
really do, yeah.
So that was good. I had a high school there was a high school PD, some stuff that happened that Tara asked staff to reflect upon, and some teachers came back and said, hey, we thought about what you did. I ended up going to some of the PD at the high school, and one of the things we did was when she was going over MTSS, and it was a little dry for staff, but then they moved on and they did some other things, and there was an energy in there. She posted some great pictures and videos, but the feedback that I got was staff loved a lot of the PD, but the first 2 days of school also, They're anxious, as you're just starting. Staff's anxious, they want to get inside the classrooms, they want to set their classrooms up, they want to make sure they have the books, their things run, they want to make sure the computer turns on. So you're always trying to juggle.
No,
that.
they need their time in
Yeah,
their room. They need that prep
Correct. So you're trying to juggle that balance of providing them PD, but also providing them time inside the classroom. The feedback from people in terms of the STAR assessment and the training, people love that. Preschool teachers love the training from the IDGD because now they have another method for it. As part of the STARS assessment, we have our 3 benchmarks over the course of the year, but staff receive some training on some short, quick, little assessments they can do multiple times a month to assess a student's progress.
Great.
And they like the fact that it's not the half-hour-long assessment, but a quick 30, 45-second assessment that they can do. So the feedback from staff has been good.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right. Next on the agenda is enrollment and school choice. So we'll start with enrollment. In your package, you'll see our 21-22 numbers compared to 22-23. This was as of last week. So as of last week, we are down 1 student. Last year, we ended with 1,187 students, and this year, we're at 1,186 students for total enrollment. I know I've signed last week some school choice, and I know we've had some people move in, so that number's going to go up, but this was as of 8/31. Our kindergarten numbers have gone up too, so we're actually at 77. There, I talked to Mrs. Sosha today about that, and I know we talked last week about the 6th grade, and we know that's high at 26.75 students average class size. And also, if you look at it, our 3rd grade isn't too far behind with an average class size of 25.5, and the 7th grade with 98 students has an average class size of 24.5. So we got those 3 big bubbles, with the 3rd and the 6th being the highest. I had a conversation with Mr. O'Brien yesterday, just seeing how things are going in the 6th grade. Teachers are trying to figure out the geometry inside the classrooms to make the desks fit. I know he has some additional supports that he's trying to push inside classrooms, especially in the 6th grade, to offer teachers.
In terms of like a para or an extra.
When possible, correct, yeah.
Okay.
Not to take away from, paras are there to support our students with learning disabilities, but when we do have the flexibility to push people in, we're going to do that, especially in the 6th grade.
And we're sharing in 7th and 8th grade a para, correct? Between 7th and 8th grade, is that correct? Yeah. So that's a little bit of a tough.
Okay.
That's a tough one.
So we're doing that now, but that's our enrollment for the year. I'll bring you another enrollment when we meet on the 21st. Hopefully by then, we'll lessen some movement, but I know I signed 3 seniors from another district came here
Nice.
last week for school choice. We had twins move into town the end of last week. I think we have someone else coming into town, I think it's our elementary school. So these numbers will fluctuate a little bit over the next couple of weeks, but hopefully by that 3rd week of September, they'll flatline a little
That's
bit.
physically in the building, right? That's not like
That's
tuition
physically-
out or
that's physically in
out
the
of district?
building.
Okay.
Physically in the building.
Now, when you came on board in the town, you had looked at, like, our enrollment numbers over several years.
Correct.
And we were historically going down.
Correct.
And so here, we're staying the same.
And we're saying the same, correct.
Okay, so that's good news.
Correct. We were projected to go down. NASDAQ did the projection in the 2021 school year. We were projected to lose another 125 kids over 5 years. So that steady decline down. So, and this will go up based off of, I don't think we've had anyone leave, but I know we've had a couple people move in.
Pretty good.
School choice numbers, we're up 1 from last year. Again, this was as of Friday, and I know we've had a couple of students apply for school choice. Grade 3, grade 4, and the entire middle school at this point have been closed for school choice. We've hit our numbers there. I'm going to recommend on September 21st that we close school choice in K-8 or K-5 as of October 1, and that we close school choice at the high school as of November 1. The only other thing here is, and we had to wait for some numbers to settle. I met with Mrs. Socia today. We have 77 students currently enrolled in kindergarten with 5 teachers for an average class size of 15. So I asked her for the TBD for kindergarten, what could we school choice in? She said she's comfortable with 5 students, which would be 1 per class, which would raise class size from 15 to 16.
And do they have?
And they have a they have a para with each of the teachers, correct.
Those are good numbers.
And then I'll come back again on the 21st with another school choice update, and then ask to close school choice for K-8, and then for October 1, and then 9 through 12 on November 1. Questions about school choice? Would it be possible to have a motion to have 5 students added to school choice for kindergarten in case anyone applies?
And you said there's 77 right now?
There's 77 now with an average class size of 15. Mrs. Socia is looking for 5 slots, which would be 1 per class, which would rate class size from 15 to 16.
With 2 adults in the classroom.
2 adults in the classroom, correct.
I make a motion to accept 5 additional spots for kindergarten, if kindergarten school choice, if so needed.
Second.
Motion made by Monique, seconded by, oh, for the love of God, Beth. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained?
Thank you. And the last thing we need to look at is the month of November. We have regularly scheduled meetings for November 11th and November 16th. I'm sorry, November 2nd and November 16th. On the 2nd, Mrs. Moore and I are away at a conference, and on the 16th is the annual fall town meeting. So we can't hold school committee meetings on those 2 dates. I'm unavailable the 9th, so I'd like to propose that we do Tuesday, the 15th, as our school committee meeting for the month of November.
Does anyone need to check their calendars? Do you want to hold it over until next, if you need to check and get back, we can put this on the agenda?
We could put that on the agenda for,
We just need to have a quorum, that's the biggest thing, is you have to have a quorum. So,
I can be there.
I can do it.
I can be there. But we're canceling the other 2 in November, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. So we need to make a motion to accept November 15th, and then remove the other 2 dates of the 2nd and the 19th? The 2nd and the
2nd and the 16th.
2nd and the 16th.
I move to remove the school committee dates of November 2nd and November 16th of 2022, and add a school committee meeting on Tuesday, November 15th.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
Julie?
Julie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained? Thank you.
And again, just ending with a huge thank you to everyone for making it such a smooth start to the school year for our students. So that's my report for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the school committee and subcommittee reports, the accounts payable report.
That's me. So I signed warrant 55 SCHL 22, 1 batch totaling $28.19. And warrant 56 SCH 22 for a total of 5 batches with a total dollar amount of $19,523.54. I did 10 SCH 23, 2 batches totaling $32,374.23. And I did warrant 57 SCH 22/57 SCHL 22. There was a total of 10 batches and a total dollar amount of $167,331.43. I did warrant DMS 22/06, one batch totaling $2,350. Warrant 05 SCH 23, 5 batches in a total dollar amount of $56,955.24. I did warrant 08 SCH 23, a total of 8 batches for $127,096.19. And last I did warrant 09 SCH 23/09 SCHL 23. There was a total of 9 batches for a total dollar amount of $82,735.33. There was nothing irregular or concerning.
And I would like to thank Mrs. Bergstrom for her flexibility with, especially with closing a year and opening a new year, and the way warrants and the timing has to be done. Sometimes we just don't have the control over it, and she has been just fabulous, and we've been able to really keep things rolling, so I really want to say publicly how much I appreciate it. So thank you so much from all of us in the office.
No problem, you're all lovely.
Thanks, Beth. The next thing is the board, committee, and commissions and reorganization and information. This we got from the town administrator, Lisa Freeman over there. They needed to have our information from us, and so in the packet, it tells about the rules of conduct, your board of members and publics of boards and commissions, that what they're governed by, your open meeting rules that we have. It's similar to the school committee one that we already got to, the Mass General laws. So I'll pass this around, but we need to fill this out, just so they have that in case they need it from the town side. That's all they're asking for.
Do they do this every year? Pass these
They
materials?
should have been doing it every year, from what I discovered from Lisa, is this is, it's part of like a recall internal for the town. If something's going on and they need to get a hold, if they can't get a hold of Dr. Vera, they'll get a hold of one of us on the school committee to do whatever we need to do. So that's all it is, it's just, if like our calendar invites, if stuff's going on in town, like they'll do events, and if they want the school committee to be participating with the board, they'll call us over there too as well, so it's just a centralized way of doing stuff, so.
Do you know, do we need to sign the code of conduct again as well for yearly? Only because I see it included in the packet.
I think it's in the packet, I mean, I think it's, because,
For information purposes?
I think it's more of an information purposes than anything else, you know,
Was this amended? Was there an amendment to this?
It's
no.
been a July.
This is from the town, this is the town of Douglas.
July 5th?
The Board of Selectmen just updated their stuff, and I think it's because Lisa just went through all the training too, on that side of it, so it's probably because of this is a requirement to make sure, it's like, kind of like when you get on the board, you have to do all this training, so it's just that, so. If there's no questions about that, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll put this contact information, and then I'll send it through all of us, so we can get that done maybe tonight. The next thing that we have on our agenda is the consent agenda, but I'd like to move out of order and bring the job descriptions forward for the special ed coordinator, as well as for the administrative assistant to the director of special education and student support services. Dr. Merrick?
So yes, we had the one for the administrative assistant to the Director of Special Education and Student Support Services. We had previously brought to you a little while back. There haven't been any changes to that. And Dr. Merrick did prepare the job description for Special Education Coordinator, and I reviewed it as well. If you have any questions, please feel free. Dr. Merrick will be very happy to answer them.
So, hi, Dr. Merrick. So are we shifting, because up until like this year, and I know your whole department's kind of restructuring a little bit, in the past, our coordinators have done all the scheduling of IEP meetings and that sort of thing, and I noticed that it's not on their job description anymore, it's just on the administrative assistant. Are we switching so she's responsible for all the scheduling?
No, you coordinators will actually be doing all the scheduling. You schedule
Yep. I just don't see anything on their job description that says scheduling and coordinating.
Be under number 14.
Okay. Attends in
Well, hold on,
The first 14 or the second?
Oh, there's 214.
teens.
there's the second 14.
Guess we have to change that, yeah. We will update that.
Okay.
So I know one thing that Ms. Keegan mentioned when we did the job descriptions. It's impossible to write a job description to encompass everything that a person does. And we've had the struggle as we've gone back and forth and shared this with people, like, hey, I don't do that. And we're not writing the job descriptions for the individual people who are currently sitting in the positions. We're writing the job description for what we see the job needing to be done. Obviously, people have strengths and weaknesses, and it ebbs and flows, times things change. So this job description here encompasses most of what's done. I know when we were looking at job descriptions that we were looking at that were written several years ago, some of them had bullet points of essential duties and responsibilities that went 50, 60, 70 bullet points on. It's too long for a person to look at. So we tried to pare it down to basically look at the essential duties of it, but know that there's an ebb and flow with things with it.
So my coordinator job description doesn't have that on 14. Doesn't have scheduling at all on.
Oh, no, is it meaning that other duties or special projects? I think that's what he meant.
Yeah, number 14 is the catch-all that says other duties or special
Okay.
projects
At the bottom.
as assigned by the Director of Special
Okay.
Education, Student Support Services.
Because it just hurt, so the assistant, the Lois, I guess, for lack, so she's, by this, she's scheduling all the meetings, and this is a catch-all that can do it. This is what this says to me.
Yeah, it does say specifically schedule IEP team meetings on the administrative assistant one, but it doesn't say that under.
And in fairness, you guys are just getting your department together and working, and but we plan, like you said, you don't plan for the person, you plan for the seat. You don't plan for the person that's putting in the seat. So I read this and I look at, okay, that's who I have to go to for everything with scheduling.
Yeah. No, our coordinators will actually schedule the meetings, at least the way it stands right now. I think if there's anything that was taken away from COVID, is that anything can change in an instant, right? And so perhaps Lois may assume some of those responsibilities should something happen in the future. But typically, no, that we're moving in the direction we're moving in, and coordinators will schedule.
So should we add that
I
to
would
this
think.
one and put,
Sure.
could we put like may assist with scheduling of team meetings on below, does that make?
It does.
Does that, okay. And again, I understand you guys are just trying to get your groove and work together and stuff.
So under the coordinators, add may schedule,
No, under the coordinators, add schedule
Okay,
IEP
schedule,
meetings.
okay.
Yeah.
And then under Lois's may schedule. Does that way?
There's a
like-
differentiation
Jen,
between the two.
Yeah.
And I think it's, you kind
I'm
of
sorry, it's my old HR brain that kicks in
Well,
sometimes.
I think it helps too to make sure that there is follow-up and people know exactly who the team member is, who's going to be following up.
Right, and we really want it, we're kind of trying to push for, a certain chain. I hate the word chain of command, I can't stand that sentence, but like a certain protocol for who to contact. I hate it. It makes me-
military.
It makes me nuts.
Just a little distinction around the administrative position, or, excuse me, the secretarial position. She does schedule all my other district meetings.
Okay.
That does need to be in there. It's not a may, it's actually.
She will.
So she will schedule out of district and may assist with scheduling in district?
Yeah, I think that would be better.
Thank you.
The most important thing, are you comfortable with the job descriptions, how they're written?
Yes, I am.
Oh, yeah, she's the one who created the sped coordinator, and she and Tara. Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want to make sure
Yeah.
that we.
It wasn't me.
Again, you got to have that buy-in to make sure,
Yeah.
because we've had so much churn in special ed, and so it's near and dear to all of our hearts up here. We just want to make sure, because you're now in that seat, this is your ship to direct, and making sure that you're comfortable with everything that's being put forth.
Great question. Yes, I am.
So do we,
Need a motion to approve as amended.
As amended,
do I
yeah, each
have to
one
do
separately.
each one?
Or they're both as amended, I guess, so, either way.
I so move to approve the administrative assistant to the Director of Special Education and Student Support job description and the special education coordinator job description as amended.
Motion made by Beth, seconded by?
Teresa.
Seconded by Teresa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained? Thank you so much, Dr. Merrick, for
Thank you,
coming.
Dr. Merrick.
Thank you. All right, now we're going back into the normal alignment. So it's the Building, Facilities, and Construction Committee.
So.
Dr. Vera, can you talk to us a little bit on this?
Absolutely. So there is, the town has a committee together of building, facilities, and construction. So if there's ever a project that's going on in town, there's representatives from the town, but also there's a representative from the school committee that's appointed to that board. So if there's ever, for instance, something going on at the library, major renovation, and a committee gets put together, school committee has, as one of the major departments in the town, a representative on that committee, so you have the ability to appoint someone. I sent something out last week to the community to see if anyone was interested, and oddly enough, within 45 seconds, 2 people emailed me, and then it went radio silence after that. So we have one person who was seeking more information, I emailed them back, and then we had one individual who said they would be interested in doing it. So before I reached out to those 2 individuals, I wanted to let the school committee know that we do have 2 representatives who were interested, and if it's all right with the committee, I'll reach out to those 2 individuals, have a conversation with them, see who's interested, and then present some information to you at the next meeting to have them be officially appointed.
Do you know anything about the backgrounds?
I wanted to have this conversation with you to see if you were okay with the process before I dove into their backgrounds.
Hey, we got someone to vote, we got 2 volunteers, potential 2 volunteers.
cool.
That's huge, so, thank you. I'm just elated that we don't have to try to figure out in our own, so whatever we can do to pursue somebody who wants to participate.
It's always great on those committees, having done 3 building projects. You like people who have a legal background, you like people who have a construction background, you like people who have an engineering background. That's typically there. But you also like that at-large voice because they're seeing things from a completely different angle. And as long as you have, if you're doing a major project, you usually have a project manager to help out, but it's nice having that at-large voice to just offer a different perspective in the process. So I'll bring that to you at the next meeting.
Thank you. Next is August 24th, 2022, school committee meeting minutes for us to review.
It's just that same issue as before, I think, let's see.
Many versus any?
Weren't many versus any, yeah. Yeah, there were too many that need to be changed, so we'll just change they both, yeah. Okay. One was changed.
So if anyone would like to make a motion?
I move to approve the August 24th, 2022 school committee meeting minutes.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by?
No second.
Seconded by Beth. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained? Thank you. The next one is the negotiation subcommittee meeting minutes that are for July. We'll take them one at a time. July 23rd, 2020.
And just for the committee's information, these are all the subcommittee meetings that dealt around the return to school for COVID. And we have one more batch that I hope to bring to you on the 21st, and that'll be the end to the 3 years of executive session minutes. The last batch we'll bring to you will be all the minutes for our negotiations with the teachers' union over the past year and a half to get both the 1-year and the 3-year contract. And we will bring that to you on the 21st.
So I'll be looking for a motion to approve the July 23rd, 2020 minutes.
I move to approve the July 23rd, 2020 minutes of the negotiation subcommittee with the DTA.
Motion made by Monique, seconded by Teresa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Julie.
Thank you. Next one is the meeting subcommittee, negotiation subcommittee meeting minutes dated August 12th, 2020.
I move to approve the negotiation subcommittee minutes for August 12th, 2020.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
I'll second.
Beth. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Next is the August 20th, 2020 negotiation subcommittee meeting minutes with the DTA.
I move to approve the August 20th, 2020 negotiation subcommittee meeting minutes.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
I'll second.
Beth. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain?
Julie.
Thank you. It's a tongue twister.
It really is.
Negotiation Subcommittee meeting minutes with the DTA dated August 24th, 2020.
I move to approve the August 24th, 2020 negotiation subcommittee meeting minutes. So one of these times I'll get it actually. We'll go with it.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
I'll second.
all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain?
Julie.
Thank you. Next one is the Negotiation Subcommittee minutes with the DTA dated August 26th, 2020.
Okay, I'm going to try it again this time. I move to approve the negotiation subcommittee meeting minutes for August 26th, 2020.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
I'll second.
Second by Beth. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained?
Julie.
Thank you. Next one, Negotiation Subcommittee meeting minutes with the DTA dated August 31st, 2020.
To approve the August 31st, 2020 negotiation subcommittee meeting minutes.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by?
Second.
Second by Monique. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain?
Julie.
Thank you. Next is Negotiation Subcommittee minutes with the DTA for September 3rd, 2020.
I move to approve the September 3rd, 2020 negotiation subcommittee meeting minutes.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
I'll second.
Beth. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain?
Julie.
Thank you. Moving on to the next one is the Negotiation Subcommittee meetings with DTA dated September 14th, 2020.
I move to approve the negotiation subcommittee meeting minutes with the DTA for September 14th, 2020.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by?
Second.
Second by Monique. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Julie.
Thank you. Next is the JLCD mediation policy. It's our third reading, and we'll be doing a vote afterwards.
So again, we have these 3 policies before you, the third reading for each of them. The first policy, the JLCD, the medication policy, speaks to how we administer medication in schools and what we can and we can't do. Again, Nurse Campbell at the end of last year and our subcommittee spent a lot of work going over this, so we're at our third reading today. Are there any questions on it?
If no one has any questions, I'd be looking for a motion.
I move to approve the JLCD medication policy.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by?
Julie.
Second by Julie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you. Next one is the JLCD, our administration of over-the-counter medication.
So again, this was a change, and some subtle language changes. Probably the biggest thing that we did is we changed from name brand prescription medications to their generic, or their, no, not generic,
You were right, yeah. It's
generic
yep.
names. So that was the gist of the changes for JLCDR.
Right, I move to approve the JLCDR administration of over-the-counter medication policy.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by?
Second.
Second by Monique. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you.
And the third one is our wellness policy procedural guidelines that we've put together. I think we started this about 2 years ago. We started this the year of COVID. So again, lot of work on it, a lot of things added to it, especially around about emotional well-being of students, promotion of student well-being, a lot of stuff on foods, and then some language changes to it and committee functions. So really happy for the work the wellness subcommittee did on this.
If there's no other discussion on this, I'd be looking for a motion.
I move to approve the wellness policy update.
Motion made by Beth, seconded by?
Teresa.
Seconded by Teresa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Good to go. Next is the FY 22-23 Douglas Middle School and Douglas High School athletic fees.
Yes, as you recall, we brought this at the last meeting, and we discovered that probably because of COVID and just our brains, just being COVID brains, we did not update the cap schedule that Kevin Maines had introduced and prepared. So what I did was I went through the same exact methodology and just updated the numbers all the way through. But nothing of it was changed except for the date on the agenda item summary or the motion, because we did say including, pursuant to the schedule as well on the motion. So it was updated.
This is basically the only thing that has gone down in price in all of America.
Yeah, probably, you are right. Excellent
So
point.
true.
Yeah.
An excellent plug to get your kid into sports
Yeah.
within the town.
Right, that too. Yeah.
Any further discussion on this? Seeing if there's none, I'd be looking for a motion, please.
I move to approve the recommendation of FY 2023 athletic fees for the middle school and high school as attached, maintaining the current fees for the high school at $180 with an approved individual and family caps and $160 for the middle school per student per sport, no cap.
Motion made by Beth, seconded by?
Second.
Second by Monique. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you. Next is the FY '23 for the 22-23 school year revised adult lunch prices.
Okay, so we do have, Raquel Hammond did come out this evening, and so I will let her present it, our food service director.
Hi, good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for coming.
Of course. So, over the last couple of weeks, us food service directors across the state and country have been undergoing lots of PD ourselves, and USDA regulations, as you know, it's like heavily regulated. So one of the things that we were really reinforced and reminded, especially with COVID having kind of interrupted the norm in National School Lunch Program, was adult meal pricings and a la carte fees and things like that. So we were really reminded to look at the formulas and make sure that we're up to date. So, so this brings us here tonight, just to kind of set forth, what the formula is. It's the free federal reimbursement rate plus the USDA food value. Because we don't get reimbursement from the federal government or the state for adult or a la carte items. So, overall it's just recommended that we increase breakfast adult meal price to $2.75 and the lunch adult meals to $4.75, and that will get us right on target with what's recommended.
Do you get a lot of adults that buy meals?
As a plug, for school lunch, it's a bargain at $4.75.
Yes, I mean,
It's a bargain at $4.75.
you can't get a
I buy
latte
once
for
a week.
less than $6 nowadays. So, and really, this is part of just, USDA kind of reminding school districts that, we really do need to keep up with the times and make sure that we're getting back what we're putting out as a program.
It's a good
So-
big business practice, so, yep.
Yeah.
What's the increase? I was just curious.
75 cents.
Okay.
That's a bargain.
So, just overall, the recommended price increases will just help us not only maintain compliance, but also make sure that our program is financially sound. So if this committee's in agreement, the following motions recommended for approval. I move to approve the following fees for 22-23 school year as follows: the adult breakfast, $2.75, and the adult lunch, $4.75.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Monique, seconded by Beth. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Can I ask you a question while you're here?
Of course.
How's your breakfast stuff going?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We, luckily,
Not to put you on the spot. I know.
no, I'm,
Oh, no, she loves
Talk
talking
about
about it.
as long
going
as you
very
like. Honestly, coming in as sort of like the new energetic food service director, I just can't, say how much I love to do this for a career. I love to feed kids and healthy choices and things like that. Coming into free meals was even better because it really allowed sort of the walls to come down, and there's no harm in trying it, and it's allowed us to offer more choices and more variety. With the increased participation, we kind of get that more flexibility. Also, our principals have been super supportive, and I have to say, the middle school breakfast is almost outdoing lunch right now. It's just so popular. So we got some competition going on, healthy competition, so.
That's great.
Middle school's doing second chance breakfast for grades 6th, 7th, and 8th. They start, I think, 6th grade breakfast starts right around 7:45-ish. So every student has an opportunity for second chance breakfast. Mr. DeFonso at the elementary school is trying to figure out how to have kids get off the bus and go to the cafeteria and eat in the cafeteria, do that. Ms. Sosha has her system, but they're just starting in K, and they're figuring that out. And I've had a conversation with Tara. I know they offer breakfast here at the high school. I want to give her some time to get settled, to figure out how we can get a greater participation at the high school for the breakfast program. But it's awesome. I mean, Bob saw it in the 7th and 8th grade when the kids came back from that second chance breakfast. Even though some kids were having their first breakfast, a lot of them were having their second, which is just fine. But
They like to eat.
there was a healthy energy about them, which is so important.
It's funny, my son's in 7th grade, and he is so excited, like, he won't eat breakfast before he leaves now because he likes going to that. Like, he really he would kill me for saying
That's
that up
great.
here, but he really
Really
likes
happy to
it.
hear that. It's really all-inclusive. There's, no boundaries, no barriers, everybody's welcome. So that's a huge benefit to the
Yeah.
free meals prices.
And I want to elaborate a little bit more on what Raquel had said as well. A big thank you to all of the principals. It is not easy with their tight schedules and everything they have to deal with. They've all been very accommodating, working very well with Raquel to fit it in and work it out with her. So we really appreciate their assistance with it as well. It's been really, really
You
good.
can't learn.
No.
Yeah, right.
You can't. Right, you can't.
And that social emotional bit too, of having
Yes.
your peers back together, I mean,
Yeah.
that to me is priceless. Just to take that 10 to 15 minutes, extra second, like I said, thinking outside of the box, that to me is like a huge kudos, so.
Yes.
Especially
Thank
after
you.
COVID and everything. Like you said, getting the kids together, making them, letting them laugh and kind of let their hair down a little bit and, yeah,
Like
it's very
Greg said, they
nice.
just want to talk.
Lot of
They just
value.
want to talk, and if they can talk and eat,
And then get back and learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's awesome.
Yep. It's all good.
Are high schools, are high schoolers allowed to have, or you, I should say, are you allowed to give high schoolers different options such as, kind of like a Starbucks offering, drinks such as those?
So we're not really allowed to give them caffeinated beverages, but we can definitely look into sort of like non-caffeinated teas or like hot beverages like that in the morning.
Because that's a big draw for kids. Like, they like to stop by Dunks or the Coffee Bean,
Oh, yeah.
stuff like that. And a lot
We're
of them.
limited on
yeah.
sugar, but
Yeah, I know.
I have definitely a culprit on the pumpkin spice, but
Smoothies would be fun.
I know they like your salad bar too. Like I hear a lot of good, like that's
Yeah.
a huge thing that I hear.
actually was going to be reaching out to the
Potato
principals
bar.
to do a student survey.
The potato bar.
The high school student survey last year helped us greatly with just understanding what they're looking for and making sure we always have, some choices they might want to have. So,
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raquel, for coming in and joining us tonight.
Thank you, Raquel.
thank you.
Okay, over to School Business and Operations Managers Report. Courtney?
Unfortunately, I did not have the year-end stuff. Next meeting for sure.
Okay.
Gina and I were running a little bit late.
It's just a crazy time of year.
Yep, it really is.
So, any topics that we did not anticipate?
We do not.
All right, so we need to enter into executive session.
Before you do that, can I just ask a question?
Yes,
Are we going
absolutely.
to anticipate having the principals at a future meeting?
Principals be here at the next 3 or 4 meetings
Okay.
in a row. They're presenting their goals, they're presenting the school improvement plans. At the next meeting, they're coming and introducing new staff. I know they have STARS assessment data to look at and MCAS data to look at, all in the last meeting in September, the 2 meetings in October, and the 1 meeting in November. So we got to spread all that, we're spreading all
Juicy
that.
stuff. I
That's
can't
the
wait.
We're
fun
spreading,
stuff.
that's what, we can't do it all in one meeting, and we'd be here till 1 in the morning. So we're just spreading out all that stuff over the next 4 meetings.
All right, can't
That's
wait to
right.
hear it.
They were here with us in August. I wanted to get this done now and give them some time to at least prepare that information, but they're all coming, I think, for the next 4 meetings.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we are going to adjourn into executive session. We will not come back into open forum. We will adjourn right from there. So we'll do a motion to enter into executive session and not return.
At 7,
7:52 PM
52.
on September 7th.
I move into executive session at 7:52 PM, September 7th, and not return.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
Monique?
Monique. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? All right, thank you. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a good night,
Scott.
everyone. You need roll call vote,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Roll call vote.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
awesome.
Julie Boulder, aye.
God, just go down and take.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Heather Moore and I.